Good morning. Before I start, I want to ask a question. Who of you guys ever took the risk to quit your job? That's a lot. And whoever took the risk to say goodbye to your house or leave your apartment? Whoa. Okay. We're all friends now. That's good. About 2 years ago, I did both of those things at the same time, so I took a big risk in my life. And today I want to share a story about what happened and what I learned from it. So I was working in Amsterdam as a creative copywriter. I worked for 6 years at different agencies. And my last agency where I worked was LEMS. And it was fun, but at one day I was driving on my bicycle, as we Dutch people do. And I thought it was raining. I was like, man, what am I doing? Is this going to be the rest of my life? And then I decided to completely flip the script, and I decided to quit my job and risk everything and leave my apartment as well. And I wanted to travel the world, but I didn't want to stop building my career. So I came up with an idea, and I made it simple enough to explain it in one tweet. So the backpacker intern, that's me, travels the world helping out agencies, brands and charities in exchange for food and a place to sleep. And I just launched it with no intentions and didn't even make a press release. I just thought, like, I want to do something fun while traveling. But the idea got picked up, and here's a little video that explains what happened.
How do you promote yourself as a creative if your ambition is the world?
Meet Mark van der Heijden, the backpacker intern, helping out agencies, brands and charities. But he doesn't want to get paid. He just wants to trade a day of his work for food and a place to sleep.
After launching this video, the idea got picked up by international blogs, newspapers, radio and TV shows. It was crazy. It resulted in more than 750 job offers from all over the world. I got hired by agencies I could normally only dream of working for. Besides agencies, I also helped out some cool brands and charities. In 1 year, I've worked in 25 countries on 6 continents and gained experience at 30 companies. According to TEDx, my story was an idea worth spreading. Host of the event, Nile Rodgers, invited me for an internship. And 3 weeks later, I was hanging out with Avicii and Chris Martin from Coldplay. Just another day at the office. During the adventure, I shared my experiences with a growing crowd from more than 159 countries. And that didn't stay unnoticed. In December 2014, I was invited by the White House as top 100 most influential travel blogger in the world. But the journey doesn't end with me. In May 2015, I launched a platform that connects creatives and companies worldwide. That's how a simple self-promo idea not only put me, but also future creatives on the world map.
I actually still have the original piece of cardboard, so it's almost done. But this one, I just wrote it down as a funny idea, and it brought me to 27 countries, worked at 32 companies on 7 continents. So just a piece of cardboard, but it worked out pretty good. Besides working at all those companies, I also had the opportunity to see a lot of amazing places around the world. But today I'm not going to talk about that, because you can see all that stuff on Instagram if you want to check it out. Today I want to share a few lessons of what does a man learn from risk-taking. So this is a story about hitchhiking. Who has ever hitchhiked in their life? Nice. A lot of risk takers in the audience. I did it for the first time when I was traveling by myself. I just thought, like, why not? I never did it. And if there is a moment in time that I'm going to do it, it's probably now. So I hitchhiked in 4 countries. So in New Zealand, Chile, Argentina, and also in Brazil. Not all of Brazil, but a big part. I spent a lot of time waiting. but it had a lot of ups and downs. But for me, like, one of the biggest lessons I've learned from it was that it actually regained my trust in people. Because, a lot of people here, you don't even know your neighbors. You don't even trust people who are walking on the streets. While people who you meet could actually potentially change your life, or they can become the love of your life, or just have a cool conversation. So the reward of taking this risk is that you regain trust in people. I was traveling in a lot of weird countries in the eastern part of Europe. I was in Hungary, and then on one day I got this email from a guy from Slovakia, and he was a TV host from the biggest national TV show in Slovakia. And he invited me to go to his morning show. And I said, like, yeah, what am I going to do in Slovakia? I don't even know, like, why should I go? And then he said, no, you should come. And he kept on asking. So I said, you know what, okay, I'll come if you pay for my flight, just a one-way ticket, and I'll come to the morning show. And I take the risk to, you know, ask people, like, if you have a job for me or an internship. And then the first one who will reply, I will go there. I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it. So I went to the show. I had to get up at 3 o'clock at night. And this is a little snippet from it. It's pretty awkward. Be prepared.
Brilliant. What do you plan to do in Slovakia? Have you already job in Slovakia, Marshall?
No, nothing. So this is actually, I thought it was a good moment to ask the people, like, if you have a cool agency or brand or charity, then I was not awake, I guess.
Takže pokiaľ máte nejakú nadáciu, pokiaľ máte svoju agentúru...
I don't know what he's saying, like, he's just...
brandami známymi na Slovensku.
Probably don't trust this guy or something like that.
A môžete...
So yeah, so how many emails do you think I got after this show? 0. So yeah, I failed on national TV for millions and millions of people. The reward is that, you know, if you take a risk like this, you give less of a fuck, because I don't care. I failed on national TV. You know, what's next? I don't care. So it's good for your get a thick skin, if that's English. Sorry? Yeah, I just traveled around a little bit, and in the end I ended up at a wakeboard school and doing an internship there because I wanted to do free wakeboarding. So yeah, that was pretty good. This was in Rio, so I spent a few weeks in Rio de Janeiro, and I was helping out a charity who uses football to help ex-drug traffickers understand each other better, because they use football as a metaphor, you know, that you don't have to fight literally when you have a problem, but you can actually talk about it, and, you know, sport is a good way to help those children. And this was one day, so before I started, I was staying with the CEO of the NGO. And there was a journalist from The Guardian staying in the same apartment, and she said that she was invited to have an interview with one of the biggest drug lords in the most dangerous favela of Rio. And I'm a risk taker, so I said, okay, can I join? She's like, yeah, maybe I can ask. And she did some phone calls, and there was this sort of godfather guy who I actually met 3 days before I asked her if I could join. And apparently he's really like introvert and difficult, you know, to talk to. But I was just chatting with him for like 30 minutes, and I had no idea it was like the Godfather. And then, yeah, he said like, oh, Mark, yeah, Mark can join. Mark is cool. Ah, okay. So I said, yeah, I can go. And then, but then I started realizing, like, I'm going to like one of the most dangerous favelas. This is not like, it's not a joke. So the next morning, the Godfather, he came with his car, and I was with the journalist. Her name was Jo. She was like 45 years old. She was a bit like my temporary mom, and she called me my son. So there was a good vibe. And she was super nervous, and she said, oh, fuck, I don't know. And I'm like, but I was the guy, so I was also nervous, but I had to be cool. So I'm like, no, don't worry, everything will be fine. But from the inside, I was like, shit, man, what are we going to do? So we got into the car, and then we're driving like more far away from the city, more closer to the favelas. And then the Godfather was talking, and I said like, hey, do you think I can make a few pictures? You know, because I have this travel blog. And then he turned around and he said like, if you want to get killed, okay. And he was like, it was super serious. So I decided to just leave my stuff in the car. It's okay. And then at one point we were like in the middle of the favelas, and there was like, you know, trash everywhere, and everyone had guns, like seriously everyone. So all these checkpoints with boys of like 16 years old, you know, checking us and giving hand kisses to the Godfather to get through. And they all saw us, and it felt like I was in a movie, but you know, it was real. So at one point we were at this bar with, I don't know, like sound speakers, you know, until the ceiling, like reggaeton, overload loud music, and then there was like these plastic tables, and we were sitting there drinking beer, and then with all those guys with guns. And then at one point one guy came, and he was like 16 years old, a bit more darker skinned, like full of tattoos. He's walking like really tough like this, And he had like a Glock, automatic gun, 4 knives on his back. And then he came to sit at our table, and he felt really comfortable. So he sat down and he goes to his back pocket, and like it was nothing, he just, you know, he puts a grenade on the table. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a grenade. That's a real grenade. So I'm looking at the journalist, and we're like, we didn't say anything, but we just felt like, fuck man, that's a real grenade. And that is like this little sort of wire, so it didn't look super safe. So I saw like, you know, the movie of my life, or at least the trailer of my life, came by, and I'm like, no, I have to stay positive, it's okay. And it helped that we had a lot of beers, so we felt more chill. So afterwards, you know, obviously we survived, but we were so like high on life, like, wow, we survived this, one of the most crazy stories ever. But the good thing about this experience was I took the risk to go really deep into one of the most dangerous favelas in the world. So I understood how they were living. Like, they're living like that because the police, when they come into the favelas, they come shooting. So they have the guns to protect themselves and their children. So afterwards, I spent about 1.5 weeks giving football lessons to children in the favelas who are all ex-drug traffickers. So they have been into that world. So there was like a mutual respect from the beginning, because I understood their language and life, and they had more respect for me. So the reward for taking this risk is you know your shit. You know what you're talking about. Like if you're doing a new project, for instance, and you're just Googling and staring at your laptop, you don't know your shit. You're just thinking that you know it, but you have to like be on the ground and feel it and smell it and touch it and talk to the people, and then you know what you're talking about. This was in Seattle, in the US. I was invited to do an internship at the Adventure Film School, which is a school that teaches you how to film during extreme conditions, like mountain climbing and all that kind of stuff. And they asked me to come up with an idea to find a new intern for their school. So I said, okay, I'm going to jump out of an airplane, and when I'm falling down, I'm going to scream the job description. And she was like, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, I'm crazy. I'm serious, I'm going to do it. And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I said, okay, I'll pay for it, and then let me know how many views you want, and then you pay me back. She's like, okay, let's do it. So then 20 minutes later, we were driving to this skydive center. I was in the car on my laptop practicing my text, because I didn't even know if it was going to work. And I only had to say like 3 months, epic adventures, and learn how to shoot and edit. So, but I said, you know, because the idea was called Badass Intern, so I said, but I have to look badass, I cannot go like this. So we went to the thrift shop, and we bought a $20 suit with a leopard tie and stuff. Thought it was quite a cool detail. I still have it, I never use it, but it's kind of a good memory. And yeah, so like we didn't know if it was going to work. It's like 16,000 feet. I'm like hanging outside of this airplane in a suit, and all those guys are like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It's like, I have no idea. And then we're like the windows going like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Okay, jump out of it. And I actually have the sound file of what happened, which is again pretty awkward, but I'm going to share it anyway, if it works. Let's see. 3 months, yeah. I couldn't go further than 3 months because it was too much happening, and I was laughing at myself, fuck, and this was like 3 cameras trying to film me, like 3 months, fuck. Still 3 months. At least they know it's 3 months, I guess. But now I think the parachute will open up. Is this one? Yeah. After this. Parachute opens. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it didn't really work out, but it was cool. And the reward was for taking this risk was no, you get a free fall. So I had a free skydive, basically. On the more serious side, who doesn't know Malala, this girl? Can I see hands? 4 or 5? Okay. So Malala is a girl from Pakistan, and when she was 15 years old, she started writing a blog against the regime of the Taliban, and she got a lot of followers. And at one day, she was in a bus driving towards school, and then the Taliban stopped the bus, they opened the door, and they shot her in the head. But she survived, and afterwards she recovered, and she gave an amazing speech at the United Nations, which you really have to check on YouTube. And she became a spokesperson for human rights, and especially children's rights. And I think about a year ago, or 1.5 years ago, I was speaking at a conference called World Merit in Liverpool, and she was also a speaker. And I had the honor to meet her, so it was like a private reception afterwards. And besides the fact that she's an amazing person, is that, you know, that's like maybe the ultimate risk taker. Like, she risks her own life, and she even keeps on risking her life because she's speaking all over the world, raising awareness for children's rights. And, you know, 3 months after this picture was taken, she got one of the biggest rewards ever, probably, which is the Nobel Prize for Peace. So she's the youngest Nobel Prize winner ever. So the reward for taking a risk like this is that you might change the world. And changing the world, that's something that I also would love to do. I know it's always this cliche thing, we're going to change the world. But I really believe that you can change the world if you find people who also believe in your mission. So, and it's even more fun to take risks with your friends. So I decided to take a big risk and start a company with a friend, Valentine. And 9 weeks ago we launched our company, which is a bit inspired by my journey. The company is called Wonder Brief. And wonder comes from wanderlust, and brief is temporary but also assignment. And we're a global community where people exchange their creativity for meaningful work-life experiences abroad. It's really simple. So we actually do an assessment of a situation at a company or an NGO. We create and post a brief on our network, and then we curate and deliver top-notch creative. So basically we're building an algorithm that makes it easier to find the right people. And then in the end, it's always about a human connection, obviously. So we do the final Skype talks and then bring them over and give them an amazing opportunity, but also the brands where they get somebody in with a fresh perspective. But building a company is also quite risky. So this picture was taken a few hours before our official launch, because we told all the press, like, yeah, on the 4th of February we're launching at 12 o'clock. And this was, I think, 5 o'clock in the morning. We were still working, and the website didn't work good enough. Like, oh my God, like we almost didn't sleep for 3 weeks. So we took a big risk, but then the reward the day after was that we were on national news. We got coverage all over the world, Adweek, India, Brazil. So that was super cool. And one of the coolest ones, I think, was Financial Telegraph. They named us Starter of the Week, and that was in our first week. That was pretty cool. And now we're live for 2 months, and we have more than 5,000 employees from 47 countries, and they keep on growing. So it's cool to see that this is really a momentum that we're tapping into, and we want to help as much people as we can. But we, of course, also need the companies where we can put them into. So we're doing a lot of new business acquisitions and talking to cool brands. And so far, we're traveling in a pretty good company. This is the companies we're working with in Amsterdam. And to give you an example how it works, so this was the first brief was with Vodafone. So they were looking for an Instagram photographer. So we set out the brief on our platform, and then you don't have to send an application video, but this guy totally blew us away with this video to apply for this brief.
Hi, I'm Philip. This is me trying to make a first cool impression. And this is the more average me taking a nap wherever I get the chance to. This is Wonder Brief, a new global community where people can exchange their creative skills for meaningful work-life experience abroad. And this is me presenting myself and applying for the first brief as a photographer for Vodafone Amsterdam. This is Wilma, these are my headbands, and this is me wearing them to hide my receding hairline I inherited from my dad. Love you, Dad. This is me traveling around India, Thailand, USA, Ireland and some other places I forgot the names of. This is not me, but sometimes people get confused by my second name. This is my hair when I wake up, and this is my hair when I go to an important meeting. Got the difference? Me neither. I'm a workaholic. I never say no, never. I always use the stairs, even if there is no elevator. One day I got a message from a friend telling me about his first assignment from Wonder Brief. In the beginning I didn't really know how to properly apply for this life-changing opportunity. Of course, I could just simply make a super glossy promotion video, hire an actor, write a story and make a beautiful little video of it. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted to show who I really am. Me as a photographer, filmmaker and traveler who is always trying to get the best shot while being in search for a new challenge around the world. A challenge and opportunity like Wonder Brief. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. It's all about what's happening today, now.
Yeah, it's pretty badass, right? So, yeah, it's an applause for Philip. He's in Austria. If we clap hard enough, you'll hear it. Yeah, so we were like blown away by it, and obviously Vodafone was also like, wow, this is perfect. And so we brought him over. So here he is, the first Wonder Briefer ever. We picked him up personally at the Schiphol airport, and we gave him some cheese and bought him a beer, of course. And he brought us some how do you call this stuff? I don't even know. Like waffles or something. Yeah, and a lot. So we still haven't finished them, but we'll finish them soon. Yeah, and he was just a super cool guy. I think he was the perfect candidate for us because he was super open-minded, really wanted to help us out. And, you know, the whole model is that the creatives, they don't get paid in money, but they get paid in the experience. So basically, you get a free flight, room and board, and some pocket money to explore the city. And then the companies, they pay for that, and then there's a service fee for us. That's basically the model. For the access to the network, the guidance before, during, and after, and the exposure on our channels. So it was also a risk to think about if people want to do something like that. But you know, this guy was like 30, and the second Wonder Brief was 32. So people who have a lot of experience, they want to work for the experience, you know. So that's also like, otherwise we wouldn't exist anymore, I guess. But luckily, the risk got rewarded with cool people lining up. And this is a little recap of his experience at Vodafone.
My name is Philip. I'm a photographer from Salzburg in Austria, and for the last 2 weeks I have been working on this amazing brief for Vodafone Amsterdam. Wonder Brief as a project is always a good opportunity for creative, that's me, because you could get abroad and actually work with people all over the world.
It's a perfect triangle for everybody, I think, for Wonder Brief, for the creatives, for the companies, to be able to enrich each other in this very, very unique way.
Working and living in Amsterdam was an amazing opportunity for me, not only to see how the people actually live in the city, but also get in touch with locals really working and living the whole Amsterdam experience. In the beginning, it was quite challenging for me to approach people, but by actually doing it, I got better and better, and I finally got some amazing shots.
I was working with Philip, who is very unbiased and very open-minded to the briefing. And for myself, it made me want to combine work and travel again.
And now refresh your perspective.
Awkward silence. Yeah, so that was cool. Let's see what's next. Yeah, and so besides the fact that he had an amazing experience and Vodafone was super inspired by him being on the floor and helping each other out, he also delivered. So you all know the saying, like, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But with Wonder Brief, it's about both, because they deliver the end product, but they also, we highlight their whole journeys. So it's awesome to see what it's like to work at a company like that. So they're actually already using his photos on the official Instagram channel of Vodafone right now. So for him, it's also a portfolio piece of work that really gets done. And the second Wonder Briefer, he just left, I think, 1 week ago. So Amnesty International was looking for an all-round creative to create a concept for during sports events and human rights, raise awareness for human rights. And we found a super cool girl from Barcelona. So this is Irene. And she is a creative director for FC Barcelona and different agencies, which was a perfect match, again, because it was about football and human rights. And, you know, she did shoots with Messi and stuff like that. So Amnesty, the guys working at Amnesty were all super jealous, of course. There were some good stories at the lunch table. And we also gave her access to Wonderbrief Snapchat. So she shared her journeys and adventures, like more sort of behind-the-scenes stuff. I was teaching her how to bike. She almost fell down. But she survived. And actually, we just created this photo. Who has Snapchat? Anyone use a Snapchat? Can you try if this works with the snap code? I'm not sure if it works because we just tried it. I was expecting more, actually. Like, I mean, come on, Snapchat is the shit, right? It's taking over Facebook. We need to use it all. I really believe that. Does it work? Or nobody's trying it? Almost? Why are you not using Snapchat? Do you use Snapchat? No? Why not?
I don't know why.
No?
Maybe I should.
It's amazing. It's the whole world out there. It's a time killer. Yeah? Yeah, maybe. Good point. But some people make a lot of money with it as well, so that can be a reason to use it. Okay, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So if you're inspired to and you want to go on a trip as well, you can go to our website and fill in this boarding pass, and then hopefully you can fly soon, like Marty McFly. Okay, so a little recap, because I've been talking too much, I think. What's the reward of taking risks? So first of all, you regain trust in people. Second of all, you give less of a fuck. Like, fail on national TV or even global, like, it doesn't matter, you know, it's all good. You know your shit. Not you know you are shit, but you know your shit. You get a free fall now and then, and you might change the world. I would like to end with one of my favorite pictures, because this journey also took me to Antarctica. So I've been to 7 continents, because I decided to risk it all. And I ended up being on this mountain climbing in Antarctica. And I want to end with one of my favorite quotes. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. Thanks.